Good afternoon, everyone. We're on this Thursday. We have a pretty nice, another colorful art project. This time we're going to do George Washington's cherry tree. We're going to put together George Washington's cherry tree. And I have an example right here, and I'm sure you have one too. And we're going to put all together. First, we're going to trace our hand. And parents, if your students need help tracing their hand, you can help them do so. Okay, probably lay their hand on the paper, and then you help trace it, and then you can cut it out. Same thing with the painting. You just have them kind of dip in their paint a little bit and just place the dots all over to create that wonderful cherry tree effect. Okay, so I'm going to go over the materials needed. First thing you will need is a pair of scissors. Okay, so you need a good pair of scissors. You'll need a pen or a pencil. I'm using a pencil today. And then you'll need some glue stick, or a little container of glue. And you'll also need your brown sheet of construction paper here to trace your arm and part of your arm and your hand. So it's going to kind of go long ways on your paper there. You're going to lay your hand there, okay, and you'll be able to trace it. My pencil's kind of light, but as you can see, I've traced my arm and my hand. And then you'll need your white sheet of paper as the background, and where you'll add your tree stump, branches, and then your cherries and leaves. Okay, so we're going to get started with that. You also need your green and red glue. Okay, red and green glue. Red and green glue. And you also need Q-tips. That's going to help you. These are going to be your little applicators. Okay, dip in your glue and then dot on your paper. Okay, so you need some Q-tips there. All right, so now that we've covered the materials, we're going to go ahead and get started. Like I mentioned earlier, I traced my hand out and that's going to represent the root, and then the branch, your branches, kind of laying your fingers or your branches. So I'm going to take my scissors then, and you can begin with me. And I'm going to cut, just carefully cut out doesn't have to be too exact, but give the, just kind of cut around your tracing, okay, of your hand. All right, so I'm doing that right now, just cutting it out. And then after that, I will glue it down. I'll also get my paints and all that good stuff ready. Have it out there a little bit. And this is really a cool, the month of February, we have our two presidents' day birthdays, George Washington being one of them, Lincoln the other. And also Valentine's. We just celebrated Valentine's a week ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago now. And then we also learned that it is also Heart Health Month. So we did a project regarding our heart. And Black History Month. It also, yes ma'am, it is. Month of February has been designated as Black History Month. It came from 1 week to a whole month. So lots and lots of rich history there. If you take time in your leisure and look up a lot of, especially for California. I've been looking up a lot of Black history for California. And some rich stuff there. So just take a look at your leisure. Feel free to Google some. Google just everything about all that we've learned for this whole month. So much that we've learned about so far. And wow, all of it is so exciting. So it gave you a little tidbit to grow on right there. So yeah. So I'm going to just finish cutting out my hand here as to not take up so much time. And then we're going to glue it down. Okay. Just going to get a little piece in here.
job, Marcus.
All right, we got some participants. They're doing putting their art craft together. I love it. All right. So now that I've cut out my hand that represent the tree, the root, or the tree stump, or the kind of the root, and then it's gonna, my fingers are represent, and your fingers will represent the branches. Okay. So I'm gonna move that out the way. I'm gonna bring my white sheet of paper over. Okay. And I'm gonna glue it down. Give it a little glue. Get back in my hand a little glue. And give a little glue there. So we want it to kind of be nice and secure for the rest of our application, especially for the glue, for the paint, our red, and do it like that. Okay. So I'm gonna just gently but firmly press down for my. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. Okay. Cool. So we have it applied here. And now we're going to take our paint. We got our red paint and we have our green paint here. Okay. And that's what we need there. And we also have our Q-tips. So I'm going to just take two in case one gets a little bit overly saturated. I have extra ones. Okay. All right. So we need to do the green and the red dots. Okay. All right. So I have my glue. Excuse me. I keep saying glue today. It's all about the paint today. All right. So I'm going to dip a little. I'm going to dip in some red. Just create my cherries. There's cherries all over, as well as my, and if you know, you can do one at a time if that's more easier for you to do. Just create, whichever color you like to start with. You can just put it all over the top part of your paper, as well as on your branches, because you want to create them growing on your branches. So you just take a little, dab a little, and just keep on dabbing and dotting. Okay. And as I finish with that, I will then continue over with my green and create the leaves. I mean, because your cherries are growing on this beautiful cherry tree, and so you definitely want to give it that appeal, that look, And you can just dot away. Just have fun with it, enjoy it as you go. I like this project here because what little artistic creativity I have coming out, it is showing up. So I'm gonna continue on now with my green. I want to top my red paint up just in case, just so that I don't make a mistake and dip in that again and can create more red than green here. So I'll have so much fun dotting away. I'll dot into the wrong colors there. Don't want to do that, but no worries if you do. No worries if you do. All right. Okay, so I'm putting my little green in here, all nice and cool, and want to get it all over my branch because it's looking like the leaves are holding your cherries, because they grow from that too. And George Washington Carver, he did chop down that tree, and so it's really, really, this is a cool little project. I like it. I enjoy all the projects, that.
So what's the history behind the cherry tree, Miss Kawana?
No, I don't remember it right now. Usually I do my research, but I don't want to make anything up, so you guys at your time. But
let me look it up.
All right, there you go.
While you guys do your art.
Thank you. As much as I love history, I'm surprised. I should have had a little cute little document printed up too. That'd have been cool. That'd been fun.
It's a myth. What? MountVernon.org. Hold on a second. That's right.
That's
Hold on,
where that
it's a
tree is.
legend.
Now remember
All
that
right,
part.
here we go. Cherry tree myth. The cherry tree myth is the most well-known and longest enduring legend about George Washington. In the original story, when Washington was 6 years old, he received a hatchet as a gift and damaged his father's cherry tree. When his father discovered what he had done, he became angry and confronted him. Young George bravely said, "I cannot tell a lie. I did get it with my hatchet." Washington's father embraced him and rejoiced with his son's honesty was worth more than 1,000 trees.
Yes.
Ironically, this iconic story about the value of honesty was invented by one of Washington's first biographers, an itinerant minister and bookseller named Mason Locke Weems. After Washington's death in 1799, people were anxious to learn about him, and Weems was ready to supply the demand. As he explained to a publisher in January 1800, "Washington, you know, is gone. Millions are gaping to read something about him. My plan, I give his history sufficiently minute. I then go on to show that his unparalleled rise and elevation were due to his great virtues." So it goes on to tell you more about it. The cherry tree myth and other stories showed the readers Washington's public greatness was due to his private virtues.
Yes.
So basically, he cannot tell a lie about him chopping down that cherry tree.
That's right. Now, one little note I do know that in Washington D.C. They host the Cherry Blossom Festival, and I'm trying to remember if that's March or April. It may be April, but that is in symbolism or celebration of the cherry, the cherry tree and its blossom and the blooming of it. So, if you ever get a chance, families, or you want to look it up, or if you're ever able to travel there during that time, it is a huge, huge festival. Possibly after COVID, you'll be able to do so. It's that Cherry Blossom Festival there in Washington, D.C.
My daughter and I went there during the Cherry Blossom Festival.
Yes, ma'am.
We went in school, and it was really awesome.
Okay. All right.
Really pretty.
Yes, yes, indeed. They are very pretty too. And just passing through there myself, I didn't get a chance to attend the festival at that time. But yes, like Miss Sue said, very, very pretty. Oh yeah, just.
Cherry tree donated by Japan.
Oh yes, that's right. That's right. Yes. Thank you, Miss Sue, for adding that. Thank you so much.
Yes, that was fantastic.
All right. So we have come to the last part. Here I am getting messy, but that's okay. That's what paint is all about. But we have come to our final part of our tree. I put the dots on. I put the cherries, included little cherries in here, and the tree. And the leaves, or that's on a tree, and we have our little full representation of the tree. So this is now a completion of the art project. We've learned a little bit about. We learned the history actually behind the cherry tree, George Washington, and the cherry tree, and being what it means to be honest. He said, you know what, he didn't make up a lie to tell his father. He said, yes, he admitted, yes, I did chop down the cherry tree. His father was very, very happy, and that he did, and own up and admit to that. And so, as that is a great lesson. I think that's a wonderful lesson, and it pays to be honest. And once again, we've completed the George Washington's Cherry Tree art project, and I hope you enjoyed putting it together as much as I did, and also learning a little bit about that Cherry Blossom Festival as well, just to highlight. Miss Sue highlighted it, as I mentioned it. So this is just really a nice project, and so with that, that completes my session for art today, and I'll turn it over to Bridget.
All right, guys and gals, thank you very much. Thank you, Miss Kawana.
You're welcome.
All right, so what we're going to do